Hey fam, Master Coach G here, thriving after 50. And in this episode, I'm talking about how you can better manage your high blood pressure. Managing your high blood pressure often involves a combination of things: a lifestyle change, or it may be necessary for medication. Okay, and just because you get on medication don't mean that it has to be where you have to continue to stay on medication. The goal is always to be able to work toward getting off of any medication that you're on. That's always the goal here on Thriving After 50. Always the goal. High blood pressure, known as hypertension, can lead to other serious health complications, including heart damage. Okay, high blood pressure can cause your heart to work harder, which can lead to chest pains, heart attack, and heart failure. Okay, it also can cause brain damage. Okay, high blood pressure can contribute to blockage in the brain, the small vessels, which lead to the vascular part of the brain. So, yes, high blood pressure can cause brain damage. Okay, my husband just had a friend who's had high blood pressure for a while. He had to go he had a CAT scan, had to go back to the hospital. They called him and told him that whatever he's doing to stop and come back to the hospital immediately. As soon as he got there, they had to go in and do surgery. His brain was bleeding. Okay? Let me say that again. His brain was bleeding. Okay? They went in, they thought they stopped the bleeding, and then they had to go in again in the same day he had to have another surgery because his brain was continuing to bleed from his hypertension. So please understand this, that you can have brain damage from high blood pressure. Okay, please don't get it twisted. You absolutely can. Here's another thing that it affects: it causes kidney damage. High blood pressure can cause the arteries around the kidneys, which can lead to kidney failure, or it may lead to where you may need dialysis. Okay? You can have a stroke from high blood pressure. It increases your risk of a stroke from high blood pressure. Okay? Eye problems, high blood pressure can cause you to have blurry vision. Okay? So listen, we need to know this stuff. So if you're having blurry vision but haven't had your blood pressure checked, then you might want to go and do that. Okay? Because it can lead to brain damage, a stroke, and you can even have a heart attack. Okay? High blood pressure is one of several factors that increases our risk of heart disease, diabetes, and strokes. Okay? So we need to know this. It's not just you just have high blood pressure. No, you need to know the complications that's behind that. Kidney failure, diabetes, stroke, and heart disease. Okay? Here are some effective strategies that will help you to manage or even eliminate your high blood pressure. Now, let me say this before I start naming these things off here. Again, you will see some of the pillars, some of the principles in these strategies that I'm getting ready to give you on how to manage or eliminate high blood pressure. You're going to see and hear a few of the principles that I spoke about from day one on my podcast. The 6 key principles that will help you to stay healthy. And I know that they will, because I have been using them for the last 12 years and I have been healthy. I'm talking about going to the doctor once a year and having a physical, and that's it. No medication, just a physical once a year to have my numbers checked. And I keep an eye on my cholesterol, my blood pressure, my A1C. I keep an eye on those things once a year just to make sure that they're good. Okay. So listen, here are some strategies to help you to either better manage or even eliminate. And the goal here is always, 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 and add about 10,000 more always to that, is going to always be to help you to get off of the medication. That is going to always be my goal. Always. Okay. Here's one of the principles: a healthy diet. Again, you cannot get away from these principles. If you want to have a healthy lifestyle, if you want your wellness journey to go well, then you have to follow these 6 principles. Here's the first principle: a healthy diet. You got to focus on a balanced diet with foods rich in whole grains, vegetables, fruits, lean protein. Okay. It's what they call DASH, a dietary approach to stop hypertension. DASH. Dietary approach to stop hypertension. And if you do this regularly, it will be effective. Okay. Here's something else that we're going to have to do in order to be able to better manage, or eliminate high blood pressure. You got to reduce your sodium intake. Yep. I know I can speak for my people, African American people. We love salt. We love salt, you know. And and sometimes I get a craving where I just got to have something salty, you know. So I know, we have those cravings, but you still have to do that in moderation as well. You got to aim for your limit of salt to be less than 2,300 milligrams a day. Your ideal intake will be 1,500 milligrams to reduce your high blood pressure. Okay. Reduce your sodium intake, people. What I use now is I use the pink Himalayan salt. It's a little bit more expensive, but I don't have to use as much. And I mean, that's all I use now. I don't use any seasoned salt at all. I used to use seasoned salt, Lawry's and all that. Only thing I use now is the pink Himalayan salt and pepper. That's it. That's all I season my food with. I don't use anything else. That's it. So check out the pink Himalayan salt. And like I said, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's definitely better for you. Okay. Here's a principle that we talked about from the beginning of time: regular exercise. I talked about it on the last podcast. You have to get in at least a minimum of 150 minutes of exercise a week. Okay, that is 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. That will give you 150 minutes a week. Easy, easy, easy way to get your 30 minutes in a day is walk outside your door, walk in any direction for 15 minutes, and come back, and you've just walked 30 minutes. Okay? Again, walk outside your door, walk in any direction, and walk back, and you've just walked 30 minutes. If you do that 5 days a week, I can guarantee you that you will see a difference in your blood pressure numbers. It is a principle. It's like taking a fish out of water. The fish will die if it's not in the water. It's a principle. The principle is water to the fish. The principle here is exercise for your high blood pressure. If you want to better manage or even eliminate your high blood pressure, I can guarantee you, if you get out there and walk 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, your numbers will start to drop. Okay? Here is another principle: maintain a healthy weight. When you are obese, your heart has to work twice as hard to pump the blood throughout your body. Okay, because it has to go through all these veins and vessels and all that. And if you are obese, then your heart has to work double time and overtime and triple time just to keep you alive. Okay? If your heart is working that hard to keep you alive, don't you think that you can do something to help it along? Like go outside and walk for 30 minutes a day? Don't you think you can do that? If your heart is working that hard for you, don't you think that you can help it? Because the more weight that you have on your body, the harder your heart has to work to keep you alive. So if you want to stay alive and you want to be healthy, get outside and walk. There's no excuse. It's free. And if you are able to walk 15 minutes in one direction and come back. There's no excuse. Seriously. Okay? That will help you to maintain a healthy weight. Because your heart is working overtime for you to stay alive. So if you want to maintain a healthy weight, start walking. Just start walking. Because you are going to take so much pressure off of your heart. You reduce the risk of having high blood pressure when you maintain a healthy weight. Please listen to me. I'm telling you from experience. I'm not talking about, yes, I've done research, and yes, I research everything, and yes, I can go to a book and show you. I can do that. But I'm speaking from experience. My blood pressure was so high, the doctor told me I could walk out the door and drop dead. Let that sit with you a minute. Because it sat with me when I got in my car and I cried, knowing that I could die at any moment. Any moment. I had to sign a waiver at the hospital that I was not going to take their medication. And because they didn't want to be responsible, they said, if anything happens to you and you don't want to take the medication to get better, then you're going to have to sign this because we're not going to be responsible for you. My heart was working overtime to keep me alive. So I had to do something to help it out. So I had to get out there and walk. That's what I did. I had to get out and walk. I started walking every day. I walked 7 days a week until I got that weight off. And I did not stop until it came off. I went from 237 pounds down to 120 pounds. And yes, it took me some time. But I tell you what, I bet you ain't got high blood pressure. My blood pressure is perfect, honey. It's like 129. No, let me take that back. Because 129 was actually like what they put out there to tell people anything over 129, you have high blood pressure. Excuse me, the last time I went to the doctor, which was in June, I went to the doctor since then, but when I had my physical, my blood pressure was 119. Okay? 119. At the time I was 66 years old and had a perfect blood pressure. Perfect. You know why? Because I pay attention to my numbers and I do what I need to do to make sure that my blood pressure stays in a good place. It doesn't go up. It doesn't go down. I maintain a good blood pressure level. Now, here's another thing that you will need to do in order to maintain or eliminate your high blood pressure. You need to limit your alcohol intake. Okay? Do it in moderation. I mean, if you drink, if you only drink on the weekends, but you overdo it on the weekends, then you know what? Back off of that a little bit and do it in moderation. Because it will be more beneficial to you not to go overboard with the drinking. Okay? I'm not a drinker, so, I don't drink very often. Every now and again, I may have me a glass of wine. I had a glass of wine over the weekend. It was my anniversary, so I had a glass of wine. But I don't drink very often. But limit your intake of alcohol. It will definitely help to reduce your blood pressure. And if you're a smoker, it affects your cardiovascular health. So, yes, I can say quit smoking. But it's not. That's easier said than done. I've never been a smoker, so I don't know. I've never smoked cigarettes, so I don't know. But I know that, everybody can't go cold turkey, and I understand that. My mom was able to go cold turkey and just quit like that. And I know several other people that have been able to do that. That's not for everybody. Everybody can't do that. So if you need some help, seek some help. Because it's affecting your blood pressure. Okay? And your cardiovascular health. Okay? Here's another one. Please, please, please manage your stress level. Your stress level affects your blood pressure. Okay, if you got to take a woosah moment, if you got to grab your earlobes and rub them and stroke them or walk out the room, whatever you have to do to manage your stress level, please do it. Okay, practice some relaxation techniques such as deep breathing, praying, meditation, yoga, Pilates, going to the gym, whatever it is to manage your stress. You need to get a handle on that, because if you don't, your blood pressure, you will never regulate your blood pressure. And if you want to be able to maintain a good number or to even eliminate high blood pressure, then you're going to have to manage your stress. You're going to have to manage your stress. So I highly recommend relaxation techniques, deep breathing exercises. Let me tell you something. You can go on YouTube and find stuff for beginners. And if you've never done deep breathing or meditation or yoga, go to the beginners section of any video on deep breathing, yoga, meditation, and start from the beginners. And just start practicing, because you got to learn how to manage your stress. So whatever you need to do that, get with it, okay? You got to get after that for real, because it affects your blood pressure. Then you got to monitor your blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, I highly recommend that you regularly check your blood pressure, even at home. Okay, keep a track of your readings, so that way when you go to the doctor, you can kind of gauge on, where you are. Now, let me say this. Some people, when they go to the doctor, their blood pressure may run a little bit high, because some people have what they call white coat syndrome. My mom is one of those people. She goes to the doctor, she gets herself all worked up, and she just thinks that, she's going to get a needle, and she's afraid of needles. So she gets herself worked up, and she has what they call white coat syndrome. So her blood pressure is always elevated when she goes to the doctor. However, when we check it at home, it's not high. It's at a good standing. But because she has, and most of you may have white coat syndrome. Now, if you go and you have your blood pressure checked on a machine and it's extremely high, ask your primary care or your doctor if they can do it the old-fashioned way with the cup and the stethoscope. Ask them to do that, because sometimes those machines may not be calibrated properly, which may give you a false reading. And sometimes when you have a false reading, sometimes the doctor take that as a true reading and want to put you on medication. So that's why you need to monitor your blood pressure even at home. So that way, if you go to the doctor and it's a little bit high from the machine, ask the doctor to give you a reading with the old-fashioned way with the stethoscope and the cup. Ask them to do that so you can see the difference, because I'm telling you, it is a difference. I do it. Well, my mom does it all the time. She'll go out there and it'll be extremely high, and they say, "Oh, your blood pressure's high. You're taking your medication." And then when she gets inside to see her nurse practitioner, I say, "Emily, can you please check it again with the cup and the stethoscope, because I think you'll get a different reading." And every single time, it's different than the machine. Every single time. So I would say have them to double check that. It won't hurt. Okay. Now, here's another thing that you may have to do. I didn't do it. I absolutely refuse. And I'm not telling you to do this. I'm not saying for you to do this. What I'm saying is that that's what I did. Okay. I refuse the medication. What I'm saying to you is, if you need the medication, take it, but set your goal that is temporary, and you will not be on it long term. Okay. Give yourself 90 days to work at getting your blood pressure down so you don't have to take the medication. Okay. That requires a lifestyle change. That requires you watching what you're eating and getting some physical activity in, getting the proper sleep, drinking your water, all that stuff. All those 6 principles are going to help you to better manage or totally eliminate your high blood pressure. Okay. Now, here is one of the principles. Another one of the principles. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated, my friends. Drink plenty of water throughout the day. Hydration can cause an effect on your blood pressure. It can cause an effect on your blood pressure. I know it might not seem like it, but that's the reason why it's one of the principles. Because is if you take the fish out of water, the fish is going to die. If you're not getting the proper intake of water, if you're not staying hydrated, it's going to affect your blood pressure. Then you become the fish out of water. You don't want to be the fish out of water. You don't want to be the fish out of water. You don't. So what I'm telling you is to make sure that you stay hydrated. Okay? So here are some of the principles. Stay hydrated. And let me say this about the medication. If you are taking high blood pressure medication or any type of medication for that matter, please, please, please drink extra water. Okay, I would say taking at least 2 extra bottles of water a day if you're on medication, because what you want to do is you want to flush out some of them toxins that's in the medication that your body doesn't need. You need to flush that out. So drink extra water if in fact you're on medication. And if you have high blood pressure and you need to get on medication, then do that. But set a goal that that's not what you're going to do. You're not going to stay on high blood pressure medication. I need you to manage your stress level. I need you to monitor your blood pressure. I need you to limit your alcohol intake. Okay, I need you to maintain a healthy weight. And if you're not at a healthy weight, I need you to get to a healthy weight. The way you do that is by regular exercise, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Okay, reduce your sodium intake, please. Okay, you got to have a healthy diet. Is what I call DASH. Dietary approach to stop hypertension. DASH. Dietary approach to stop hypertension. That's why you got to have a healthy diet. These are the things that's going to help you to better manage or eliminate your high blood pressure. Okay? That is a